Senator Blackburn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for being here. You know, Senator Booker asked, why were we here? We're here because trust has eroded in the FBI and Department of Justice, and you see this carried out by the Obama FBI and DOJ, and people are just, they cannot believe this happened. And you know, I have to tell you, Mr. Rosenstein, when you think about insurrection, generally you think about violence, you think about armed criminals, they're taken to the streets, but there are some plots that are there that are done, they're quiet rebellions, and they use the cloak of law to shield them. And you've got where corrupt officials really exploited their powers to destroy careers. You've got partisan hacks that manipulated conspiracy theories to destroy careers, to destroy their political enemies. And these unsubstantiated conspiracies, and this is really what gets us, this has wasted a lot of our time and a lot of money, and it has destroyed the trust. And the Mueller witch hunt tried and failed to get rid of a president, and then you had the impeachment, and the Democrats tried that tried and failed. And the deal is that the American people should be able to trust the FBI and DOJ to have one set of rules and one standard, and that will apply to everybody. And we know that didn't happen. There hasn't been accountability, and there seems to be a double standard, one for the in crowd and a different one for the out crowd. And let's go back to Mr. McCabe. The IG caught him lying 3 times under oath. And you've said you did not think he was completely forthcoming, I think was your phrase you used, in his conversation with you. So, if there's a double standard in place, do you think that Andy McCabe should be criminally charged with lying?
Senator, I don't express any opinion about that. I don't have access to the evidence, and so I'm really not in a position to comment on it. The evidence being whatever information was gathered through the investigation.
Okay, so you have no opinion. If he lied, and we know he lied.
If he willfully lied and it was material and it satisfied the principles of federal prosecution, then yes.
Then yes,
I don't have an opinion
he should
about
be charged. Okay. All right. Michael Flynn was a target because he supported Donald Trump, correct?
I do not understand that to be the reason he was a target.
Okay. Then let's look at a double standard here. You go back and you look at what happened 10 years ago in the Senate when DOJ prosecutors went after the late Senator Ted Stevens, and they withheld Brady material. And that was vital and relevant. And it is a tragedy that Senator Stevens was exonerated only after he passed. So let me ask you this, is history repeating itself today, that the prosecutors that went after Flynn and they withheld Brady evidence and they violated his constitutional rights, so should the charges be dropped against Michael Flynn?
Senator, I'm not going to comment on the pending case, but I think it's important for you to know. I read the pleading that was filed, and I know people have jumped to the conclusion that there may have been wrongdoing by the prosecutors. I haven't seen that allegation raised by the Attorney General or by U.S. Attorney Jensen.
So you have no opinion if there should be consistency?
I believe there should be consistency.
You
yes.
believe there should be consistency. So if you're consistent, then the charges would be dropped, correct?
I don't know. It's hard for me to compare the two cases.
Hard for you to say. Okay. You've got your daughters here with you today.
I do.
And you've got one that wants to be an entrepreneur. and is
I'd rather not
interested
give too many
in-
details about my daughters at a congressional hearing, but
In politics.
yes, I'm very proud of them.
Let's just say, I know that you are proud of them. We're all proud of our children. And I think many times as a mom and a grandmom, to me, it is some of that role playing that does the best. So let's say your daughter, who's an entrepreneur, is wildly successful, rocks the political system, runs for office, and wins. And then she finds out she's been spied on. And then let's say another daughter has followed in your footsteps and gone to DOJ and has become a career DOJ employee and is heartbroken when she finds out that some of the prosecutors and the agents are bending the rules and skirting around and using that to spy on a president. And she comes to you and says, Dad, what should I do? And the other daughter says, Dad, what should I do? Would you want there to be two tiers of justice, or would you want there to be one, Mr. Rosenstein? Would you want there to be consistency?
I would want there to be consistency.
You would want there to be consistency. Exactly right. And that is why we're doing these hearings. What was done to President Trump and to his transition team? I was a vice chairman of the transition team to this day. I don't know if they spied on me. See, this is outside of the rule of law. And it is so disappointing to us. And I've come here and I've listened to everybody's questions that you want to punt and kick the can and not give us an answer, because if we don't get this right and if we don't straighten out what happened with Crossfire Hurricane and whatever else was in this mix, then my children, your precious daughters, my precious grandsons are not going to have a government that they can believe in and trust to do the right thing. I yield my time.
Senator, if I could briefly respond, I do not mean in any way to punt. It's simply that I'm not carrying the ball at the moment. So I'm not in position to know what the evidence is beyond what I'm seeing in the media, and I rely on the people who are in authority to take the appropriate action. I do not believe that Mr. Mueller was trying to get rid of the president. And as I told you, I was working with a team of Trump appointees, and I don't think any of those people believe that I was trying to get rid of the president. That's just not what we were about. With regard to General Flynn, I think that case will be resolved, and if there are allegations of wrongdoing, they'll be remedied. But I do think, Senator, it's not a matter of punting. It's simply a matter of reserving judgment, given that I don't have access to the evidence at this time.